Right here, Bibby will miss the remainder of the season due to a left knee injury. Now, I can't even remember
that the Indiana Fever have dealt with the Bibby injury.
Because Bibby is out for the season. As to whether or not Caitlin Clark will play at all for the rest of the season.
Bibby, red kryptonite herself, Bibby is out for the season.
That the Indiana Fever have dealt with the Bibby injury. I'm not out here saying that Bibby
is out for the season, and Bree Hall is making her way back to Indianapolis.
Just moments ago, the Indiana Fever made it official. Bibby is done for the season. What was first brushed off as just a minor setback turned out to be something far more serious. The knee injury she suffered wasn't just bad, it was devastating. And now, her entire year has been wiped out. It's tough news to swallow, and honestly, it's heartbreaking to see her journey cut short like this.
You see it right here, Bibby will miss the remainder of the season due to a left knee injury. Now, I can't even remember what in the world happened to Bibby?
The way the Indiana Fever have managed Bibby's injury is definitely sparking questions. Think about it. Just a couple weeks ago, she was labeled day-to-day. Then suddenly she's back on the roster, only to be pulled right back out. That constant flip-flopping has left fans, and pretty much everyone watching, completely confused about what's really happening with her knee.
That the Indiana Fever have dealt with the Bibby injury. I'm not out here saying that Bibby, the Fever training staff, are the reason why Bibby's injured. I'm actually not saying that, and I don't know that. But what I am saying is Bibby was listed as day-to-day 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, she was day-to-day. And then all of a sudden, goes from day-to-day to she's back playing. She was day-to-day, she was in practice, and then suddenly she's back playing.
And here we go again. Another player ruled out for the season after being expected to make a return. This time it's Bibby, the fiery spark fans have been waiting to see, now sidelined for the rest of the year. With no Caitlin, no Sophie, and now no Chloe, it's honestly becoming harder and harder for fans to find a reason to keep tuning into Fever games. At this point, the struggle is real.
We've got another player that is now out for the season after we were told, back for the game, now out, but not a setback. Well, I would, Stephanie White, I beg to differ, because it seems to me like out for the season is probably a pretty damn big setback. And of course, the three players that I was really in tune with, and hell, one of them just got on the team, Bibby, red kryptonite herself, Bibby is out for the season. No Caitlin, no Sophie, no Chloe.
The official update is in. Bibby's season is over, shut down by a left knee injury. And believe it or not, this marks the fourth season-ending injury for the Fever this year. Fans are in shock at how fast her situation flipped, going from hopeful to heartbreaking in an instant. At this point, the team's battle with injuries feels nothing short of devastating.
You see it right here, Bibby will miss the remainder of the season due to a left knee injury. Now, I can't even remember what in the world happened to Bibby. Was she injured during practice? I didn't see anything in the game. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I didn't see anything during the game. And I have to say, man, I've never seen a team go through so many injuries. I mean, this team is being injured so much. The coach is being injured. Did y'all see Keith Porter injured in that last game, sitting on the sideline with that boot on that leg?
Wow, Stephanie White just dropped the news. Bibby is officially done for the season after her knee flared up during travel. What was originally brushed off as not a setback has now completely shut her down. And if that wasn't shocking enough, the Fever wasted no time bringing in Bree Hall on a hardship waiver to take her spot.
Bibby being out. But first, I do want to start out with the injury update for Caitlin Clark, as it seems to be looking like she is not going to be coming back for the rest of the season. Now, don't quote me, because who am I to say whether she is or isn't? The answer is, of course, ambiguous as always. And when Stephanie White was asked about it during practice today, this is what she said.
Let's break down this whole Bibby situation, because the timeline makes zero sense. Just 2 weeks ago, she was listed as day-to-day. Then suddenly she's cleared to play. She shows up on the roster for a game, yet never actually steps on the court. And right after that, she's taken off the roster completely. Honestly, what is even happening here?
That the Indiana Fever have dealt with the Bibby injury. I'm not out here saying that Bibby, the Fever training staff, are the reason why Bibby's injured. I'm actually not saying that, and I don't know that. But what I am saying is Bibby was listed as day-to-day 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, she was day to day. And then all of a sudden, goes from day to day to she's back playing. She was day to day, she was in practice, and then suddenly she's back playing. She's back on the roster for a game. They didn't play her. They gave her a DMP, but she was on the roster. She warmed up.
And to set the record straight, it's now official. Chloe Bibby is sidelined for the rest of the season.
Ruptured his Achilles, and now it was announced that Chloe Bibby will be out for the remainder of the season, which, by the way, shows you can't take what Stephanie White says at face value when it comes to these type of things, because she said Bibby didn't suffer what she would call a setback.
Breaking update out of Indiana. The Fever have confirmed that forward Chloe Bibby is done for the season, sidelined by a left knee injury.
Says the Indiana Fever announced today that forward Chloe Bibby will miss the remainder of the season due to a left knee injury. And in a related move, the Indiana Fever have signed guard Bree Hall to a rest of season hardship contract. Chloe Bibby joined the Indiana Fever July 25th via 7-day contract.
Here's the latest update. Chloe Bibby's season is officially over, and stepping back into Indianapolis to fill the gap, Bree Hall.
Chloe Bibby is out for the season, and Bree Hall is making her way back to Indianapolis. Chloe Bibby is an astronomical player, impactful player, and unfortunately she is done with the Indiana Fever for the remainder of the season.
Stephanie White tried to downplay it, saying it wasn't a setback, just a little swelling from the travel. But let's be real, swelling mid-flight absolutely counts as a setback, and fans immediately pointed out the contradiction. Only days later, Chloe Bibby was ruled out for the season, leaving everyone wondering what the real story behind her injury actually is.
But Stephanie White was asked about this, and her words were that there was no setback, just a little bit of swelling because of traveling. And we all said it, and we were like, she's just defined a setback. She just said there's no setback and then defined a setback. And they were like, swelling while traveling is a setback. Unless, of course, they knew she was out for the season. But also, knowing that she wasn't good for the season, also putting her on the active roster when they had more than 8 players and they didn't need to.
Fans did not hold back. They were furious, demanding that the Fever fire their medical and training staff immediately. The comments came pouring in, blasting the team's doctors as careless and unqualified. To make it worse, people were crushed watching Chloe Bibby's comeback vanish almost as quickly as it began. The whole situation feels like nothing short of a disaster.
So, half the team's out with injuries, yeah. And we're just looking at some rebuttals, some retort from Fever fans. Fire your incompetent training and medical staff. This brand of apple is rotten to the core. White said there's no setback, but now she's out for the season. Please fire your training and medical staff because they are incompetent, or White is for talking out of turn. Why sign a non-shooter to replace a shooter? We don't have enough scoring. Yeah, we brought in Bree Hall
to patch the huge gap left by Chloe Bibby's knee injury. The Fever brought in Bree Hall on a hardship contract, but let's be honest, this only shows how rough things have gotten for the team. With 4 season-ending injuries already on the books, trying to replace Bibby this late in the year feels absolutely crushing for the players, the staff, and the fans alike.
This is crazy work. The Fever have signed Bree Hall to a hardship contract in her place. Now, to break down even more what's going on with the Indiana Fever, they had this article with Indy Star stating now it's evident Bibby had a setback enough to rule her out for the season. The Fever have about a week left in the regular season, wrapping up against Minnesota on the 9th. We already know all this, right? Assuming they have a playoff berth. To accommodate for Bibby's injury, the Fever have signed Bree Hall, their number 20th overall pick in the 2025 WNBA draft.
When Stephanie White was pressed about Caitlin Clark and Chloe Bibby's status, she revealed that Clark still hasn't been cleared for full contact practice. At the same time, Bibby's knee flared up again, leading to her being officially ruled out. That back and forth has left fans feeling misled and extremely frustrated with how the entire situation has been handled.
I'm not going to say that it looks like she's going to come back out there. It also looks like she hasn't been able to do any contact practice. So this might be a season that we see without the likes of Caitlin Clark. I am telling you, the only consistency in the Indiana Fever is the inconsistency. It is the consistent injuries happening because Chloe Bibby, although her knee injury was supposed to not be a setback, is out for the rest of the season.
And here's the wild part. Some people are even saying, we were thinking about cutting her anyway because she didn't fit. The idea being that if she's ruled out for the season, it speeds up the process of adding a hardship player. It really makes you question what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Being ruled out for the season because there's 3 games, there's a week left in the season. It could be a 2-week long injury. It could be a 2-week long injury, and simultaneously, while being a 2-week long injury, it could be something that they're like, well, you know what? We were considering cutting her anyway. We were considering cutting her anyway because she doesn't fit. And, you know, at least if she's out for the season with a season injury and we can bring in a hardship player quicker, we don't need to cut her and wait some time until we sign someone or anything.
The Fever just locked in Bree Hall on a rest of season contract, adding to a roster already hit hard with multiple season-ending injuries, and with Caitlin Clark still sidelined. But here's the catch. Several of these players will actually be playoff eligible, including Simpson and now Hall, if the team decides to keep her on board.
So let's put that in our back pocket when it comes to what she says about Caitlin Clark as well. As far as the repercussions of this, well, Bree Hall was signed to a rest of season contract. The Fever have numerous season-ending injuries now. Obviously, Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, Chloe Bibby, to name a few, with Caitlin Clark still sidelined. What this means for Clark is essentially nothing, because they still would have to get rid of one of the hardship players when she comes back, but many of them will be playoff eligible, including Sims and now Hall, should they elect to keep her.
Big update, the Indiana Fever have officially added guard Bree Hall on a rest of season hardship deal. This move comes after Chloe Bibby, who first joined the Fever on a 7-day contract back on July 25th, was later signed for the remainder of the year.
Says the Indiana Fever announced today that forward Chloe Bibby will miss the remainder of the season due to a left knee injury. And in a related move, the Indiana Fever have signed guard Bree Hall to a rest of season hardship contract. Chloe Bibby joined the Indiana Fever July 25th via 7-day contract and was later signed through the rest of the season. Is expected to make a full recovery. Bree Hall was drafted by Indiana number 20 overall.
It's official. Bree Hall is locked in with the Indiana Fever for the rest of the season. She's now a full part of the roster, and given the team's situation, that's a pretty big move right now.
Bree Hall has signed with the Fever for the rest of the season. So Bree Hall is officially under contract with the Indiana Fever for the duration of the season. So basically, she is no longer on a rookie contract. I mean, she is no longer on a draft situation trying to make the roster. She has made the roster. And yeah, man.
Chloe Bibby was ruled out for the season just days after Stephanie White insisted the swelling wasn't a setback. With only 3 games remaining, it easily could have been treated as a short-term injury. But instead, the Fever quickly moved to bring in a replacement. The way her removal was handled left a lot of people genuinely stunned.
What the hell's going on? Like, it's gotten to the stage where you've even got Chloe Peterson talking about it. 4 days after Steph White said she didn't consider swelling and Chloe Bibby's need to be a setback, Bibby has been ruled out for the season. And it's the one thing, it might be a minor injury. Like, being ruled out for the season is because there's 3 games, there's a week left in the season. It could be a 2-week long injury. It could be a 2-week long injury, and simultaneously, while being a 2-week long injury, it could be something that they're like, well, you know what? We were considering cutting her anyway.
Fans are convinced this whole situation has turned into a complete mess. Many are demanding a league-wide investigation, pointing out how often players are going down with season-ending injuries. Chloe Bibby's loss only added fuel to that fire, and at this point, a lot of people don't even trust what the Fever say about injuries anymore.
Our planned sabotage. No way in hell you're losing this many players to season-ending injuries. The WNBA and Fever organization is a disgrace to basketball. Bullshit then and bullshit now. Look, they wouldn't be taking so much shrapnel if you hadn't had multiple situations where things are so cloudy involving injuries. That's the reason they're taking so much heat. Oh, not a setback, ankle out of nowhere, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, it's
With Chloe Bibby's season-ending knee injury, the Fever are now dealing with 4 major losses all at once. The roster is packed with hardship contracts, and the team is quickly running out of both size and depth. This wave of injuries has completely thrown their season off track. It's nothing short of a disaster.
Because they just can't catch a break. You feel me? I mean, come on, dog. No break at all. Injury after injury after injury. Injuries has ruined the Indiana Fever season completely. Injuries have ruined our enjoyment on watching the Indiana Fever. It is nonsensical work how injuries is plaguing this team. I've never seen this ever in my life, where a team injuries are just piling up like a football pile, like somebody fumbled the ball and everybody's jumping on top of it. Never seen it, fam.
Bibby's injury marks the 4th season-ending loss for the Fever, and while Caitlin Clark hasn't been officially ruled out, even that cloud of uncertainty is enough to frustrate fans. Losing Bibby is just another crushing setback in a season already defined by injuries, and it hurts more than ever.
It is the consistent injuries happening because Chloe Bibby, although her knee injury was supposed to not be a setback, is out for the rest of the season. She was taken off the injury report and she did travel with the team to the West Coast, but according to Steph White, all the traveling kind of flared up her knee, but apparently at the time was not a setback. And today, she has been ruled out for the season.
When Stephanie White was asked about it, she claimed there was no setback, just some swelling from travel. But think about that for a second. She says no setback, then immediately describes exactly what a setback is. The contradiction is honestly unbelievable.
Look, it's one thing, like, it's setbacks from injuries happen. That happens all the time. That a player comes back from injury a little bit too early and they end up having a setback and they're out. But Stephanie White was asked about this, and her words were that there was no setback, just a little bit of swelling because of traveling. And we all said it, and we were like, she's just defined a setback. She just said there's no setback and then defined a setback. And they were like, swelling while traveling is a setback. Unless, of course, they knew she was out for the season.
Let's be real. If a player returns to the lineup, then gets pulled again, and ultimately is ruled out for the entire season, that's the very definition of a setback. By any standard, there's no other way to describe it.
Chloe Bibby was out and then back in and then back out again, and that's why Stephanie White was asked that question. Clearly, it's a setback when you were back in the lineup and then you're back out. You know, and then you're out for the season. I would call that the definition of a setback. So again, you know, whether you go back to the Dwana Bonner situation or Caitlin Clark's injury situation or this, you can't take Stephanie White's public comments about these things at face value. And in a sense, that's part of the job. I mean, I would like more transparency. I would like to not feel like I'm being deceived.
There were so many games where Chloe Bibby barely saw the floor. Just 6 minutes here, 3 minutes there, maybe 4 at most. And honestly, how can anyone truly make an impact in such limited time? It's a no-win situation.
She signed for the rest of the season, and it's kind of like Stephanie White just went away from her. We had plenty of games where Chloe Bibby was playing 6 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and it's just like, it's impossible for somebody to be impactful in that amount of time. So really, really unfortunate that we have lost Chloe Bibby. She's a sniper, and I'm hoping that this team gives her a look next season, because I would love for Chloe Bibby to have a chance to be on this roster next season.
The truth is, the last real glimpse we got of Chloe Bibby wasn't even on the court. It was at Topgolf. That's where she was last spotted, and it feels like nobody wants to actually acknowledge it.
There it is. There go Chloe Bibby right here. Told you. Topgolf. Here you go, right here. Last time we seen Chloe Bibby. Topgolf. Telling you. There it go. Right there. The last time we seen her. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit this. It was at that moment her season was over with.
Honestly, this has turned into a nightmare for the Fever. No team, no matter how unorganized, should be racking up this many injuries. At this stage, the lack of clarity feels unacceptable, and a league-wide investigation into their handling of these situations is long overdue.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it, lads. That's pretty much it. For me anyway, this whole situation is just a disaster for the Fever. But I also don't think the Fever have done a good job. Like, again, there's no way, even the most incompetent training staff should not have this amount of injuries.
There needs to be a league-wide investigation into transparency. This is damn ridiculous now. Fire Stephanie White. Does anyone believe a word that Stephanie White says? No, I do not. He asked Chloe Peterson. I'm answering you, Larry McReynolds.
With Caitlin Clark sidelined, the Fever are forced to juggle 4 hardship contracts, and that alone shows just how brutal this injury crisis has gotten. Fans feel misled all season long, and let's be real, those team meetings sound more like brainstorming sessions to figure out how to spin the PR before shutting her down for good. It's a nightmare scenario all around for the Fever, for Caitlin, for Chloe Bibby, and most of all, for fans who just wanted to enjoy some basketball.
They'll have 4 hardships as long as Caitlin Clark is out. Now, that's my thing. They did sign Bree Hall, but I feel like Bree Hall is like a shooting guard. I don't really feel like she's a forward or anything. I don't know. Maybe I haven't watched her enough.
For pretty much the entire season, one person commented, "Strong fans on long enough. Huddle up," meaning figure out how to word the PR statement shutting her down for the season.
But they deserve more money because of the amount of fans, the amount of people that are showing up to games. They deserve more money because of the relevance of the league right now. They don't but that's why they deserve more money. It's nothing to do with the level of play.
Chloe Bibby's season might be finished, but the disappointment still lingers. Stay locked in for every update. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss a single moment of the story as it unfolds.